Looking to find harmony and work-life balance? Join Coach AnnaJo as she shares practical strategies, empowering mindsets, and inspiring stories to live the life you want to lead on AnnaJoTalks, Work Life for Badasses. Now, here's your host, Coach AnnaJo.
Welcome everyone to another episode of AnnaJoTalks, Work Life for Badasses. I'm Coach AnnaJo, and I'm here to challenge the myth of balance and find real harmony in modern life. Get ready for that moment that will inspire you to take action and live life on your own terms. I'm your host, Coach AnnaJo, and let's dive in. Hello, everybody. Hope you are inspired to live a new year, to live a new chapter, right? So, like this 2025 is here to welcome you and to be the year that you decide to be, okay? Because it's about you. It's about your actions, all right? And because it's a new year and this is the first episode of the new year, I want to share something that I feel is a tool that's incredibly powerful. It's not sexy, all right? The name, and perhaps you're like, what is that? It's not so sexy. Is the calendar review. I know, please don't go. Stay with me. Because this is not just another tool, right? That you are here from Coach AnnaJo. This is a practice actually that I learned directly from John Maxwell during my coaching certification in 2019. So you know that he specializes in leadership and is very into the leaders and leadership, everything that turns around the leaders, right? So when he was telling, I do this every year with my leaders, and to uncover insights and create intentional focus, is very into that part, which is true. That's why I'm sharing this, right? And seriously, it's a game changer. Calendar review. So let me be real with you. It's detailed review, right? So a calendar review or a yearly calendar review takes time doing it. So, and I, if you end this episode and really want to do this, like, let me see how to do this and go forward and to do it, block some time. I would say between 4 to 6 hours. Okay, if you don't want to in one day, doing 2 3 days. But that's where the magic happens, right? So go in the detail. And I know that I don't normally bring these type of tools that take too long because I know you are busy. And if you're listening, that I'm here to present a tool that takes perhaps between 48 hours. All right. So yeah, the first time I did it, it took me like around 8 hours. He was like, oh, okay, no way, I don't have time. So I hear you, but here is also a place that badasses come and listen to this episode and want to learn more. And honestly, like, go and do it. You don't need to be perfect. But I'm conscious that is an exercise that takes time. All right. And takes focus as well. But like in my corporate, in the time of my corporate, we used to say, the devil is in the details. And with that, we need to spend time to go deep, go to the nitty-gritty detail and understand more about what we want to learn. And if you want to really go and set your goals for 2025 and set with intentions and understand what are your patterns of your beliefs, of your behaviors, this is a great exercise. All right. This is really a great exercise. All right, let's dive in. Okay, let's go. For me, I want just to first, like, why this review matters. I already told, right? But it's more than a calendar. And there's this quote, which is not what is not scheduled, it won't happen. I don't know if you heard about this quote. There's a lot in this quote. At least in my world, I hear this almost every day. If it's not in the calendar, it won't happen. So put it in the calendar. And I use, and I'm telling you that because now I feel it's the truth. Now I feel this is so valuable. If it's in the calendar, it's honored. I honor, I'm thinking, I'm talking, I review in the morning, at night, is part of my life. And if it's not in the calendar, it unlikely will happen. But I had the thoughts before, and I'm talking about before, perhaps 6, 7, 8 years ago, that it doesn't need to be in the calendar. It's my life. My life doesn't need to be like in the calendar. My life is not determined by a calendar. That's how I thought before. And honestly, being busy and like even in the corporate, I remember like in the beginning of my corporate days, I didn't have calendar. It was just like, come and meet me at 10 o'clock. And then I'll be there at 10 o'clock because I would put perhaps in a diary or like a plan or something like that I would have. Perhaps, I don't know if you call that as the calendar, but it did feel a calendar. It was a meeting. I need to be there and that's it. Right. So I need to do the work. I don't know. Like I didn't have that. It was progress to actually honor a calendar and treat a calendar as like something that is so important to manage in my life. All right. So I think that what I'm trying to tell you is the value of honor your calendar. It's so important. All right. And now I really have these parts like what is not scheduled won't happen. And sometimes I have this joke: if I don't have schedule going to the bathroom, it won't happen. Or like, that's I have this joke, but still, like it's important. It's important to book your blocking time for your breaks, for the walk, for even like to have breakfast with my husband because we both work at home. So like breakfast time, like I don't know, like we have these type of things which actually work. So that's why I feel the calendar, honor your calendar is so important, and do the calendar review if you see those type of things and happening. It's actually important because it's your life there. It's how you can learn about your energy. So you're not wondering. You have kind of like a documentation. You have document your time to see what you did and how you felt, right? So that's three questions that we normally do when we do this calendar review. So I'm still, like in the highlights in the overall subject of what is a calendar review. So there's three questions. One is, where did my time actually go, right? So what did you do? What are the results did I see? And again, this is personally and professionally. So work and life. We're talking here work life for badasses, right? So work and life. So, and when I'm talking about results, I'm talking about results, not I did it, done, right? So I did this call with this client, done. No, I did the call and client and was a good call. What's the result? It's like, even I went to that event, and what were the results, right? So that event was, because that is a learning as well in terms of intentionality. So I have the intention to go there and have fun. Like, let's go. It's an event, a personal event, and have fun and like socialize with my friends. Did it match your experience? That experience did match your expectations. That's what I want to say, right? Did you have fun? And if not, why not? Right? So something like that. And I'm talking about personally. If it's an event for work, a networking event, for instance, you can ask the same. So I have the results would be, I have two good conversations. I have some that this is kind of my goal when I do these corporates, like two good conversations. And it does need to be new people. It needs to be kind of conversations. I want to engage. I want to be present. So actually, this is normally my goal for networking events, is two good conversations. All right. So, or if I have one, it was good. So it's because I stick to that person. It's so interesting, and that's fine, right? So I talk with one person, like had a conversation, not talked with someone. It had a conversation. So, and if not, what happened, right? So something like that. And here then, like regarding the results, how did you feel about those results, right? Because every time that you put some time and action, you have results. But then the results, you understand what are the results, and then it's about like, are those results according to my expectations or what I want to go? So, and this is kind of like automatic, like when we practice to be intentional with the calendar, right? I'm putting the time here. I expect to meet people, or I expect to have these, or I expect to, and I did it certain results, and those results are expecting are matching my expectations, and if not, why not? And it doesn't, there's no judgment here. All right, it's just like a circle of questions to be intentional regarding to your time. All right. And again, this process is not about perfection. Okay. So honestly, what this brings is clarity. All right. So yeah. So that's what it is about. Clarity. Clarity. And I think, it became more important to do that when I became an entrepreneur, true. But I think, like coming back to my time as a corporate, if I was more intentional, how would intentional with clarity, and I think, like even like how I drove my team, the results, what I was responsible, I would do it more easy. It's just like it would be less heavy. I don't know. It has to be because it has to be. I need to be there because I has to be there, right? If it was like put my word like no and like that yes and no because I have this clarity what is important. Oh, that is a big step. That is a big step in terms of life, not only work. Let's go to the tactics. The tactics and how to do this calendar review. So how I recommend and how I learn how to do it, it's about going week by week. So the review is week by week. So you go and open your calendar, right? So and do the weekly view, right? And then you see what did you do? All right. So if you don't have a calendar like a Google calendar or Outlook calendar, that's what I had in my corporate. So perhaps you have a planner, but like go week by week. But then you translate and do notes. That's kind of important. Make notes. Like, and I do actually, honestly, here, I'm going to say in my notebook. And one page, it's 1 month. That's how I'm doing. All right. So you can do in a different thing. I heard like people that do in an Excel file, and other people do in different things. All right. So there are different ways in how to capture the data of your calendar review. But for me, I'm looking for more behaviors, more qualitative type of measurements here. So it's more about how my focus and my energy level went. So that's why I do in terms of highlights, like I noted in the big events or the big things that I did it per month. So the outcome of this review week by week is to have the highlights month by month. So you have 12-month outlook, right? So like what were the highlights in January, February until the last month, December. All right. And here you have everything like work and life. We're talking about work life for badasses and work and life. So birthdays, celebrations, holidays, vacations, trips that you may have, like now then come back to the work. So like, the business milestones that you may have, like events, um, everything has to be there. Okay, so everything, like also like important KPIs that you may have, like you achieved, not achieved, like in terms of the month, right? So also is important to have that. I don't know if you have these reviews already in your calendar, like, but if you don't, like at least, like quarterly reviews of your business. I don't know if you do this, but if you are like, for instance, in corporate, you may do so quarterly reviews. So, and you are assessed against your quarter review. So, or media review. So when was that happen and how does it translate for you if you actually, in terms of your own review, your performance, how it did go. So that's another example. But don't forget, like, the smaller things as well, if it's important. And I think it's important to have there if you did a massage per month or not, so if you had it or you need more or less, or you had like your kid going to college and then you had to travel so much by the months of X and X, like, so I don't know, like those type of things has to be there as well. But so your personal life has to be there as well. So, or even a month that you were sick and then like I was sick here, like a flu, and it took me like a week off, and then after me it was my kids, and like when it happened. So that month it was 1 week, all the house was with the flu, everybody was okay, but that week was like nothing happened because there was that part being sick at home. So this is also important because those are the highlights of the month, right? So that everything has to come to your highlights. All right. So because then like what is happening month by month of the year. So, and then you can categorize like what are the highlights, the big things, like what are the wins, like, so what are the things that you actually did well, right? So like, wow, that month it was a win of this, and could be a celebration of your kid's birthday. So for I have always two big wins, like January is my son's birthday and February is my daughter's birthday. So I have two big wins already, like in the beginning of the year. Seriously, it's so good. So but then like also try to understand what are the flops, the things that didn't work, right? So you straight away know that it didn't work. And could be an event that you went and it didn't go like as expected, or you were supposed to go something and then it did happen something. And then, perhaps it's still in the calendar, but you didn't go, think why you didn't go. And that perhaps that is another thing that you need to make a note. And the other thing is like, what are there in your calendar, putting some time that is just like, it has to be here. Right? So, and why I'm saying that is just like things that you are doing. But like, yeah, I need to do, and perhaps he's like, I need to go to the doctor or the dentist appointment, and that is, but yes, you have to do it because you need to go to your physical and stuff like that, right? So has to happen. But there's sometimes other, right, are there because have to. Perhaps you can make a decision after. So it's good to be there. That right? Then you assess after what to do with that time moving forward. Okay. So this is kind of like what we can take like from this assessment and how to do it. And honestly, have fun because like, oh, I remember this. I did this. I didn't remember this. I did this. So it will be actually fun to see things that you did and you don't remember anymore. All right. And there's another thing that this is not from John Maxwell. So John Maxwell didn't teach us this, but I heard Mel Robbins, like Brandon Bouchard, even Rachel Hollis, they all mention if you don't have, they do the calendar review. They don't call calendar review, the year review with pictures. All right. So perhaps you can use pictures to see what are the activities each month you have during the year. That could be another way to do it. So I'm going more the calendar because I'm so focused on the calendar because I want to prime my calendar in a way that I honor my time. So that's why I'm giving you here the way that John Maxwell, taught us in terms of to do this calendar review. Okay. So, but then now what? So you have month by month the highlights, the good stuff that happened in your each month. You have the flops, the things that didn't work, the meh activities that what it happened here, but it didn't move the needle for anything. I didn't need to do this, but I was there, whatever, right? So you have those stuff there, you have your highlights, and now it's time to actually assess and look after the key learnings and the trends for your past year. Because now comes the assessment. Now, right, you can go and focus on your notes and see what happens. And it's nice to do this straight after, like this assessment. I do it in my computer and do in my notes after, because then your memories is kind of like life. You are living again those moments, right? Along the year. And what are the things that we are looking for? What are the patterns that we are looking for in terms of reflection to have the learnings, kind of the key learnings, right? So first is about like what was the focus of each month, right? So and I think if you are the ones that write down your goals, you even can compare regarding to the goals. That is kind of another layer of assessment that you can do, is comparing the time you spend doing things versus the goals that you had set up for you, right? I don't know if you do. I know this is perhaps a little bit more advanced, but it's something that perhaps that will help, is or think about like why not, because it could be like very powerful and intentional, like goals versus time that you spend doing this calendar review. But for me, is important for you to see like what are the focus for each month. The January month is the focus off, right? And you can see by the time that you spend in doing what, right? So what are the things that you have there, right? So also see the results. All right. So what are the results of those actions, the time that you spend doing stuff, right? Like working, doing events in the family. What are the results? And results, I'm talking about results looks like it's not for family, but yes. Did you have bonding time? Did you have a good time? Did you, it was, expected? So things like that are important as well to think through as result regarding the time you are spending, right? And then like the behaviors. All right. So see, it's very qualitative in terms of how we are assessing here the learning. So in terms of your behaviors, what are the patterns of behaviors that you had along those activities? So did you work, and you didn't take any time for yourself? There's no self-care ever there for you. Like those are type of moments that is a realization where you spend your time and your energy. And if you are having the time for recharge, I'm saying that because this is a pattern very common, especially in women, right? So, but then if you go on your focus on your behaviors and then think through about the emotions. Wow, what does that mean? Okay. The emotions means that you have results out of your actions, right? So if you put the time and you are acting on something, right? Go to work. Look like I'm going to work, fine. Yes, you go to work, and what is the result of that work? Right? What is the result of that month going to work every day? What is the result? All right? And what is the emotion you have about that result? I know it's like woo woo here. It's not woo woo. It's just like result and how you feel. Because it's important to understand that how you feel about your results, because you can have more, you can have less, or you perhaps learn that that is not the thing that you want. That is not the result for you to feel fulfilled. Okay. And that's why it's so important as well to go and think about the emotion, about results. All right. Not the activity itself, but the results you got after that activity and the time you spent with doing whatever it is in your calendar. Okay. So I that's another thing now. I'm talking like that, and you perhaps like, but I don't have anything about like I don't have my calendar fully booked with these details. Look, I understand, and I honestly didn't have it either, like the past year, and even my Google Calendar, because now I use a Google Calendar. This year, the months of January and February was empty. Like half of that, it was empty. And I was like, why is empty? And then I remember, like, I was still in corporate, right? So I had in my corporate calendar, which was an Outlook. So one thing, one practice is good to have is actually honor the calendar and take time to the calendar to actually then to be in control of your time. And it looks like it's obvious. Yes, but is your calendar actually filled with the things that you need to do, to say yes, to say no? The you are badass. So it's about like actually using a calendar to understand like what are you going to do during a day? What are you going to do during a week? And that's so important. So perhaps the learning here is like I need to build my calendar next year. And that's what I did along this year was building my Google Calendar. Then I started to put everything in my calendar and everything was blue. Now, I don't know if you know, like Google Calendar by default as blue. And then I was like, oh, I can like this is massive block of blue. And then I started color coding. And then I started to put me time in the morning. And then I'm testing here, I'm testing there. So like my client time starts to be green. So I can see if it's really a week of client time or not. So it's actually gives me the flow. Yellow is for family time. So I can say, oh my God, it's so yellow here. Like red, it's events, business events. Like, oh my God, this week was 3-day event. So you can start to see the patterns of things that you are putting your energy on if you prime and have other type of practices like color coding, like be very specific, the blocking time to walk, right? That's I have that as a yellow family and self-care. Actually, I need to change. I changed that for pink now. I did because that was one outcome of my reflection is that family and self-care was everything in yellow. No, family is yellow. And now I had like my self-care, my walks, my everything that is self-care, it's pink. It's pink. I think I need to find more color code like in Google, but I think that's the pink. So I think no, it is pink. My self-care now is pink for 2025. That's it. See, we are constantly evolving and improving as well. I'm telling you that because, for instance, that was one of the learnings that I had. It's like I need to improve. Self care needs to be separated from my family. So you can start to also think through about what would be the way to manage your calendar better, to feel in control, and to have actually a better picture in how you are spending your time. All right, that perhaps could be also a learning, which was myself as well. Okay. Um, but then, like after you review that, you can start to get like this perspective in terms of what does that mean for you, right? And what are the trends? And I'm going to share here something that, like I feel that that could be useful. Like business side, all right? So business side. The business side, for instance, I have January, February, which was my last 2 months in corporate, right? And then I quit my first week of March, and then I was a full-time business owner. I did a retreat, a self-retreat, in the first week of March, just to separate myself from the 18-year corporate career to become a full-time life coach, business owner, and then like I have this in the council. January, February. I have so much to do. Like I have so much accomplished. I did the 75 hard in January, and it was phase one, which is 30 days. And the 30 days, um, it's actually better than the 75 days, right? Now, but it's not about that. It's the phase one means of 75 hard challenge. And who doesn't know about that is a physical challenge, but not only is a habit challenge, which there is no cheating days during this time period. You need to do a bunch of things. So, and in January, the phase one has like a diet, no alcohol, 2 workouts per day. One of them has to be outdoor. And here I live in New Jersey. Outdoor means very cold outside and snowing, a cold shower. And there's another thing. There was extra, which was 8 critical tasks. And I decided in January, the 8 critical tasks means 8 critical contacts per day with a CTA, call to action, to invite someone, like a potential lead client to do a power hour, a self manifesto that is an hour of coaching that I have to offer. I did as just count. Okay, there's some follow-ups that I counted as well as a critical task, but can you imagine? So if it's 8 times 30 days, so do the calculation. All right. So there was some repeats there. Okay. So then there was some follow-ups. So I counted, and so imagine how much it was. So I did 200 and something contacts. And some of them I knew, some of them I didn't know. So it was like outstanding, the results out of these contacts. All right. So, because after this, I got like so much to connect. And in the months of February and March, I did I did close 2 clients, 2 one-on-one clients, and I had done, I think it was 8 power hours. All right. So can you believe that because I did 200 contacts, it was a bit more, but it was around 200 contacts, reaching out, right? So reaching out. Some people I didn't know, some people I knew. And then the months of February and March, I closed 2 one-on-one clients, and I did 8 coaching sessions, which is a one standing alone. Plus, I quit my job, right? So I was ending over. I had my daughter's birthday in February, my son's birthday in January. And in February, I also did a speak talk, which is a kind of a TED talk. So I had to memorize a 12-minute speech and record at the end of February. When I was looking to the calendar review and saw my behaviors and the badass was there a year ago, January, February, I was like, what? How? What happened? How did I did? It's just like I was blown away on the actions. And this is important for you to see as well about like your capacity. All right. Okay. Your capacity. And then I was overwhelmed. All right. And that's one of the things that actually I learned about my pattern behavior is it was a peak of a business. Right. So then I was then full on my calendar, my business in March after my downtime and my thinking process in my retreat, 3 days in Ashbury Park in Jersey Shore by myself, only myself. I had me time there. It was amazing. I'm so proud that I did that. But when I came back, I slowed down so much. Okay, giving the excuse, not the excuse, but like, like it's a transition. I did so much January, February, right? But I slowed down. What happened? It actually didn't happen anything. I didn't reach out. I think I started to do Mondays with Coach and Joe, and I started to be very consistent on Mondays with my with my email list, and I was strategizing then what the year looked like and see what the model, what to be. I had that in before, but it's like now with the time I need to learn how to do this. So I remember doing and this looking after. So and now what? And but the thing is, because I was more introspective in terms of business, right? So I was not reaching out. I was not doing the client. I was doing the client calls. I was not doing the leads, like the sales call. So I was not doing that part. What happened is that I didn't have clients until May. So I didn't close clients March and April. I didn't. But then in April, I did so much again. There was another highlight for me. So I did two master classes online. I did my events where I was presenting. I went to, did two events and I went to as attending the two events. I did two or three networking events. It was a very busy and social. What happened? The next month, I closed another two clients. So, what is kind of like I'm seeing here is like I do action and then the results are expected for the next couple of months. I do a massive action, right? So, go to events, reach out to people, in my business is how it works, right? So, go and expose myself like I'm here to offer the services as a coach. Here I am, right? So, they have a plan, and then the next couple of months it happened. So the results are positive, and then I can see myself doing these a couple of months, like January, February, and then April. Actually, it was only 1 month. It was a very busy month, and then the result came, and then I was like overwhelmed because my number of clients, like it was like increasing, and then it was too much for me to handle like one-on-one, and then this one, and then that, and then I didn't have the systems in place. It's like, oh my God, I need the systems. So what happened is that I slowed down, and then I closed the client only again in July, end of July. Interesting how this goes. So the consistency in terms of my behaviors was not happening along the year. As well, the consistency, how I close clients and how I show up and how I'm there, the results came just as my actions. And this gave me control of. So, what are the actions I need to take that give me that consistency in terms of peace of mind? That is important as well, because you're talking about life harmony. For badasses, harmony. So, what are the pieces that I have in terms of taking actions that I can sustain as consistent and giving me results? Because what I was doing is high action and then low action. High action, low action. What happened is like high results, low results, nothing. And then what happened is that because it's so high, I got so tired, and then I came back. I was like, oh, I can't. 1, 2, 3, 4, oh, let's go. And then I need to come back, right? So to sustain, perhaps I don't need to do so much, or doing in a way that I can sustain more my personal energy and keep that consistent. And then the results are consistent and like I can predict more. So this was a big learning in terms of the results and the things that I did from my calendar. And I'm giving you this detail from the business side because it was actually a haha moment for me. It was a haha moment for me. I remember feeling overwhelmed when I got two clients in a month, more. right? So extra two. Because if I have extra two clients, perhaps I was talking to 10, another one, possible ones, 10 or six, at least more than five possible clients in a month to close to. Do you know what I mean? Like, and perhaps before I talked with more or just like connect. So not even a lead, right? But connect. Do you want to connect? So there was always work to lead to clients, like to close to clients for me. It was a big thing. It was a big month for me. All right. So I want to reflect that because there's other ways. And I know like entrepreneurs and the coaches, I'm talking about my industry out there, that two per month is not enough. And honestly, this my next chapter won't be enough as well because it's about the growth. But okay, now I learned that peak on and off, it was not sustainable. So I need something else to learn and how to fill my calendar, what type of activities I need to put on my calendar for next year, and even my goals and how to set up my goals in terms of business to actually to sustain my energy, right? My personal energy. And second, also sustain my results consistently along the year. And now comes how. But the how is let's figure it out. Let's figure it out. Okay. So the how am I going to do that? That's what I'm working on. But see, like the haha moment I got because I did this calendar review, it is a haha moment. I could, the patterns of behaviors was there. It's obvious. Look, the other one, which is so look, it was I told you about like the first half of the year, but the second half of the year, like summertime was like I can't because I need to take care of my family, and that's family time over. Honestly, I was like, I have my clients, I have a number of clients that it's enough for me, and that's it because it was a high number already for me, like what I used to be, right? So then after I launched the 6-week work-life balance challenge, right? And I started to talk about that in February. So again, another peak, which then like I close another 3 clients, right? Close another 3 clients. I talk with so many people over there. But now I started to be consistent because now I'm going to, okay, I'm, getting like a membership. So I will have a consistency in terms of like, it's not one off. Is now I have something more to offer. And that's one of the things I'm trying here to sustain my energy in terms of what I need to offer and in terms of how I capture more people to my world and potential clients. And I'm being here so specific because I'm really sharing like the details of my thinking process regarding to the outcome of this calendar review. But right, so this is the type of things that you can go there. So now I can articulate like it was great months, January, February, April, September, and October. Those are my big months because, and I know how to explain in terms of business. In terms of business. And then I started like, so where's the personal? So also there was the personal. So it was March, there was June, we went to as well, June. And those are the 2 moments. And then the holidays. All right. The holidays was a big time for us as well. So I was like, okay, so what do I want then after to do next year? Right. So, and then one of the things we did was like block our vacation. Right. So it's like our vacation is blocked in March, then in June, and then then I want to have a solo trip to Portugal, like where I'm going to put there. Honestly, I was thinking to go to March, but it didn't fit there with the goals. And this is the prioritization game that you play, but goes to October, but still it's there because I want to. All right, then is a game in terms of what's the priority here in terms of the results you want to have. All right, but I went a bit deeper in terms of how this come along with you because it's the deep analysis, and then it comes with the highlights and how you assess your year, and then but it's about your behavior, and then what can you bring to the next year then to meet the results, your goals for next year in a way that actually fulfills you. Because here in this episode of AnnaJoTalks Work Life for Badasses, we are talking about life harmony. That's what it is, harmony. All right. So, and that's what I'm talking. I can't sustain like this January, like high peak, like really high, and then like being like with no energy in the next month. It's not about that. It's about sustaining the energy of how can I do the things I love with ease. But that's a learning process as well. It's not because I burn out. I did. I learned. I learned. And I learned so much last year, like the learnings, and then you go through about more details and the learnings are huge. But was one of my aha moments that I'm sharing here with you. And then now with these learnings, you take it and you can say, okay, what are the learnings and the things that I want to keep doing next year? The ones I need to stop doing, and what are the improvements for next year? And what are the things I'm doing well? And actually, I want to. It's a maintain, right? So it's like, how can I just keep doing? And for instance, for me, is my workouts and to it's a key my breakfast, which was an improvement as well. It's a keep doing for next year. So those are the things that also please celebrate. If you improve this year, next year keep doing and celebrate you. All right. But there's one rule, and this is I learned as well with the life coach school. Always first, if you go to the next year calendar, block first your personal time. I'm talking about your holidays, vacations, even your me time comes first. All right. And then everything else comes in play. All right. And then you can do negotiation like I just did with my Portugal time, right? So go back home and I want to do a solo trip there. It's still in negotiation. It's a floating now. It's in October. I'm trying to see if it fits before, but that's then a decision that you can make. All right. It's in your power to make that decision. All right. Okay. I know it was a lot, but I hope these support you, right? I didn't talk one thing. I didn't talk about the flops, right? So, and that was a aha moment as well, which was in April, March. So it was April. I went to all these events and networking, and trust is something that we have with people. So, and that was I'm saying trust because then I met this lady which has these connections in terms of a magazine that promotes local entrepreneurs in the magazine and had a big follow of people reading that magazine. It's an online magazine and it was for moms and it was local here in my town, in my county, right? So not state even, but it was like a big thing. And I was like, okay, I want to be in, it would be good if I could be in, be promoted in that magazine. It's a weekly magazine. It's fine. So I would say yes. I paid. And for me, even small investments are big investments because I'm solopreneur. So everything that more than $1,000, like you need to think about that. But I was like, no, of course, like let's invest and that will be great. That will be the outcome and have talking with this woman like that in my town or like along, like in nearby will be amazing. It didn't happen. So there was like something like in the magazine, in the leadership of the magazine, and a flop. So I lost the money. That's it. So that happened as well. And it's a big learning in terms of how I do business and how, like to do these interactions. Because, it's life. But like the other thing I was very proud of myself, I didn't even remember about that. So I didn't stay with this feeling of resentment that, oh my God, I spent this money. No, I didn't. I didn't. What I did was a big learning in terms of what questions should I ask next time before I commit, right? And that was the learning I got from this type of commitments that we do, and everything that we put our money is an investment. Ask the questions, everything, all right, including hiring me. Ask all the questions if you want to hire me as your coach, because you need to be sure, like, and understand what to expect, what's the outcomes, and how's the dynamic, what's the logistics, and like before you will actually pay. Honestly, just know what you expect. Okay, that's another learning. I knew about that, but never happened to me before that something happened like that. So it's good that happened now, so I can grow in terms of my mindset, in terms of future commitments that I may do. So I think it was a great learning as well, even if it was on the flop side. All right. So also remember that we always learn. All right. So and it's that's the powerful thing that we have doing this calendar review. All right. So after this, I hope now you get inspired to go back to your week one of last year, or at least whatever you think it's important. If I was you, I would go to calendar the previous year, the first week, and see what are the trends and what are the highlights, the flops, and the meh like things that you do during the year, and give the highlights and give the big, articulate what did you do per month. All right. And because you are a badass, you want to really make sure that you have the things going and making it happen. All right. So, all right. So, if you enjoy this episode, please write down a review. I would love to hear from you if you did this, or at least try to do a calendar review. If not, please reach out. All right. So, and have questions and questions. Be curious about what does it look like. I'm very happy to share more. And thank you. Thank you for tuning in to AnnaJoTalks Work Life for Badasses. I hope today's episode inspires you to live life on your own terms. Until next time, remember, you are powerful, you are capable, and you can do hard things. See ya!
You've been listening to AnnaJoTalks, Work Life for Badasses, with your host, Coach AnnaJo. To learn more about Coach AnnaJo, her blogs, and her coaching programs on how to achieve the work-life harmony you deserve, head on over to AnnaJoTalks.com. Make sure to follow Coach AnnaJo at Coach AnnaJo on all social media platforms. And don't forget to subscribe and listen to all of the AnnaJoTalks episodes on Apple, Google, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. AnnaJoTalks, Work Life for Badasses was produced by Thrive Loud Productions. Thanks for listening.